Okay, so as we were talking about, there may be more than one surface sample worksheet in there. So our DEO reader really needs to be able to get all of those different sheets. So we have added in these two new properties to our class. We've added a workbook and workbook sheets. Then we've added this extra method called get worksheets. So what this is doing is using the OpenPy Excel load workbook to load our DEO, and then it's going to just get the sheets and populate this. We could just left it like that, but it's just a little bit shorter. Okay, so the other thing is that we're going to do in a moment is we're going to add the functionality to add a geometry, but we won't worry about that. Let's just look at this first. So the other thing that I've done is I've made this extra file just in the root of this called process DEO. Process DEO, first it imports from make Deo-Shapefiles.read DEO, so this folder, which is actually when I made that folder before, I see Python package, not directory, which gives it this init file, which it needs to know that it's a Python package. So anyway, so we can import the DEO, and then we can instantiate the DEO by passing in that path, remembering to put the R in front. Or you can put double forward slashes, whatever, but it doesn't matter. And we've just got this one function, which is make a single shapefile, make shapefile single, and it's going to pass in the DEO. It's going to take a DEO reader object. It's going to get the worksheets. And then we're going to say for each sheet in the DEO workbook sheets, if it starts with surface, we're going to read it. And if it's not 0, then we want to add the geometry and export surface samples to shapefile. So effectively what we're doing is we're going to be reading in the workbook, looping over the sheets that are in there, and if the sheet name starts with surface, then we can export it out as a shapefile. And if it starts with DH-color, same thing. We're going to read it. If it's longer than 0, then we're going to add the geometry and we're going to export it out to shapefile. So if I just comment out some of this stuff just to explain, and I just say print sheets, and I do the same up here. I go print sheets, and we've got that. We've got this. So we want to execute this using this. Now, no module named GeoPandas because I haven't installed it yet. So we'll just comment that out and we will just run that again. I know I'm going quick and you don't actually need to know all of this. You just need to know how to use it. But I'm just doing this because whilst I'm in here making it, I might as well write it and explain it, and it'll give you a bit more of an understanding about what's going on rather than it just being this black box that you don't really have a clue. Maybe down the track you take an interest in it and whatever. Okay, so we can see that we've got surface samples A, B, C, D, and 1 TH collars. So we've just looped over and just shown that they're the different sheets that are in there, right? So we can read those different sheets in. So we could read the collar and we could read the surface sample, and it should still work because we've got that functionality included, right? So it's just read them in. It was reading each of those ones in. So at this point we could print off the columns that are inside it. So we could say print do dot or surface samples dot columns, which is one of the methods of the pandas data frame. So when we make that DH collar, it actually becomes a pandas data frame, and then you have all the potential of what a pandas data frame can do. It's all built in. So here, So they're the different column. They're just the headers from the different column, different files. So surface samples A's got those. Surface sample C's got a difference. So that's got 20. Assay values has got 11. So that's all working fine. So the next thing is we want to do this adding the geometry. So in order to do that, we're going to use a module called Geopandas, which can be a little bit finicky to install, but with the Anaconda package library manager and PyCharm, it should be okay. But there may be some C binaries that are needed. So we're going to have to hit that hurdle when we hit it and then respond to it on the WhatsApp chat, and then we'll explain. Basically, we're going to have to install Microsoft Visual Studio Code, and that's going to have a load of C binaries here. But let's cross that hurdle, cross that bridge when we come to it. If we go back into File Settings and we click on the plus arrow and we type in Geopandas, we should be able to go install package. And this should install our Geopandas. So I'm just going to pause it while it does that.